So first of all, Corey and Chad, those people are just awesome humans. They just make me smile. Tanner, thank you again for pulling together another amazing event. I remember the very first Liftoff event from 3 years ago, and these just keep getting better and better each year. I'd also like to give a big shout out to everyone who's attending today. You're all here for one reason, and that is likely to become a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And I get it. Like, that's why I get out of bed each day, right? And that's also why I'm so irrationally passionate about what we do here at Basecoat Marketing. So if you've not heard my voice before, my name is Austin Hauser. I'm a husband, a father of 2 young men, and chief brainiac over here at Basecoat Marketing, which is just a fun title for CEO. And if you've not heard of Basecoat Marketing, we are a full service digital agency exclusive to the professional painting industry. We're based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. We got a team of 30 rock stars who have helped hundreds of painting businesses throughout the United States and Canada over the last 16 years. That's a mouthful. And look, it is my pleasure to bring all of you over a decade and a half of experience and value today. And Tanner, I have a small favor to ask of you or Eli or somebody on your team. I'm going to rattle off several resources and URLs throughout this presentation. So if you wouldn't mind dropping those in the chat for everyone as they come up, that would be a huge help. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now listen, I know what you all want from me today. And I know because we're an agency and we track the data. Our technical webinars with sexy headings, they outperform our data-driven content 10 to 1. But for those trying to implement our technical strategies, maybe 1 out of 10 will have any success. And look, if you're self-motivated, you're interested in content like that, go follow our Basecoat Brainiac podcast. It's on our website, basecoatmarketing.com/podcast. We also have a free learning center on there as well. It's basecoatmarketing.com/learn. We have a lot of content out there, right? But for today, I'm here to deliver what you need to thrive as a business owner in a seasonal industry in 2025. I also, for those of you who want to get in the weeds today, I'm going to try to leave a little time for questions after this. So if you guys have any questions around SEO, ads, email marketing, whatever, drop those in the comments in the meantime, and we'll try to get to as many of those as we can after this. Okay, now I'm going to request participation from everybody today. So virtual hands up, emojis in the comments, give me some sort of indication you're with me here. If I told you there are only 4 things you need to do today to generate more business tomorrow, only 4 things, would you be willing to listen in over the next 30 to 45 minutes? Emojis in the comments, give me some feedback. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do this. Now, as I said, we have helped hundreds of painting businesses over the last 16 years, and in that time frame, we've identified several patterns or traits of our most successful multi-7-figure clients. Whenever I say success, we're talking about those who consistently hit their goals. And this success is sometimes driven by hard numbers like revenue and profit, but also sometimes it can be those softer KPIs, like how much free time do you have to spend with your family and friends, right? We have some clients who literally work 2 hours a week and generate over $1 million in annual revenue. They run completely on systems and processes. It's a lifestyle business for them. Others, like I look at Brad Ellison, right? He's got that pedal to the metal, let's go national type of mindset. Regardless of what your version of success looks like, these patterns are all based on data. And because we're a data-driven agency and we've been around for a while, so we've seen a thing or two, we have a lot of data to work with. There's a phrase I want you all to remember: success leaves clues. This is likely the same reason you're attending an event today like Lift-Off. You're trying to answer a very simple question. What are others doing that I am not? Well, I have good news and bad news. These patterns we're about to review, they're not going to guarantee you any sort of successful lifestyle, but they ultimately dictate who is likely to succeed and who is likely to fail. Think of these as like leading indicators of success. It's no different than if we were betting on who would win a marathon. Let's compare someone with like a healthy diet, a daily routine, and like a growth-oriented mindset. Let's compare them to somebody who hasn't run a mile since gym class in high school, right? If I were to ask you who is likely to win that marathon, given any unforeseen injuries, I believe everyone would agree it's likely the guy with the daily routine and healthy habits, right? So today I'd like to break down what success looks like at a macro level. And to do this, we're going to review 4 essential tasks that you need to do in your business every single day to keep your business consistent throughout the year. Why? Because your peers who have all the success that you want are doing these 4 things. We call these our 4 non-negotiables, and they make up the foundation of marketing in a seasonal business, which you are all in, by the way. And as an added bonus, I have some gifts for you today. Yeah, Christmas, I believe, was last month. So these are technically belated, but there's never a wrong time to give, right? So for each non-negotiable, I'm going to provide you with a tool or a resource that you can swipe and deploy into your painting business today. So by the end of this presentation, you're going to have 4 actionable strategies with scripts, SOPs for each. Does that sound okay, everybody? All right, let's jump in. Now, first non-negotiable for success is data. We must make decisions based on facts, not feelings. Specifically, there are 4 data points you must know without even thinking about it. Unfortunately, the math in this industry is very, very simple. So even if you failed math class in high school, you should be able to ace this exam. So let's review the first 3 of these 4 data points. Now, for those of you who have never seen a sales funnel before, this is an extremely important concept, and we're going to build on this shortly. So listen up here. The last time you made any decision, such as what shirt you were going to put on, which restaurant you were going to take your wife to, or which car you were going to buy, you have gone through a decision-making process. This is the same process that your prospects go through when selecting someone to repaint their home. Everyone does because we're human, and that's what makes us predictable. So let's quickly break this down. At the top of this funnel, we call that TOF, it's widest, right? At the bottom of this funnel, it's BOF, it's smaller. Now, I'm not a big fan of even calling this a funnel to begin with, because that would indicate that everyone that we drop in the top comes out the bottom. And that's just not how this works. So let's call this a filter. And each stage in this filter is a decision your prospect can make, and each stage excludes them or filters them from entering the following stage, right? This is a decision-making filter, otherwise known as a funnel. And all it does, let's make this real simple. All it does is it takes big numbers and makes them smaller. Everyone with me so far? Okay. Now that we understand how a sales funnel works, there are 3 numbers you need to know. It's your set rate, your close rate, and your average job size, right? There's interchangeable terms for all of this, but the math is very simple here. So let's talk about the benchmarks for these numbers. Grab a pen and write this down. Industry standards for this is 70% set rate. That's your estimates divided by how many leads you have, all right? 35% close rate, that's closed jobs divided by estimates, and an average job size of about $5,000. Your average job size is very dependent on your market and your ability to sell. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now, like, hey, my close rate's 80%. That's great. That number is also not scalable, right? We have some clients who intentionally intentionally increase their rates if their close rate goes above 40% to get that back down to 35%, right? These numbers are fungible, but more importantly, they're based on real world data, and we rely on this, and you should too. And this is what this math looks like on paper. We recommend that you guys record this data every single month. This is an example of a dashboard that we build our clients during onboarding. In this example here, we onboarded this client back in January of last year. So this is 2024. This is a full calendar year's worth of data. The top row in red, this is their entire investment into marketing. So all of their service fees to us, ad spend, all in. The middle rows in purple, these are their lead numbers, right? These are they're specifically like around cost and volume. And at the bottom, the rows in green, that's the results. Specifically, we report on those numbers I just mentioned, your set rate, your close rate, and your average job size. Now, if you notice, we don't report vanity metrics like clicks and likes and impressions. Why? Because you cannot deposit a like in the bank account. All right. Now, why do we report numbers to our clients at all? Most CRMs kind of have this technology built into it, right? Well, first, I don't care what CRM you use, the data is not 100% accurate. And you need good data to make decisions. And this is not always a limitation of the platform. Most of the time, it's a problem with attribution. But given the fact that we know exactly where leads come from and when an event occurs, such as a booked estimate or a closed job, we can accurately report ROI numbers down to the penny. Now, the last row in this dashboard is the most important. It's our fourth and final KPI. That's cost of marketing. Otherwise, COM is the abbreviation for that. Now, if you notice, April through December, with the exception of November, this client's cost of marketing was sub 5%. Year to date, they spent $85,000 and generated $2.2 million in return. That's a 3.77% annual cost of marketing. Yes, this client is pretty happy, right? Now, for your purposes, the annual benchmark in this industry for cost of marketing is anything sub 10%, right? You want to keep that number in the single digit territory. And the important part here is that is an annual average. It's okay if the seasonality, buyer intent, anything like that temporarily increases that number, as long as your overall average is still below 10%. Now, I know some of you already know these numbers like the back of your hand, which is fantastic. That's great. You're ahead of the curve. But for those who don't, or who want to hold their marketing agency accountable, we created a free calculator for this. So our first gift to you, scan this QR code on screen or go to basecoatmarketing.com/calculator to download this 100% free resource. Again, that's basecoatmarketing.com/calculator. Wouldn't mind throwing that in the comments. That would be awesome. All right, let's move on. So our second non-negotiable for marketing success is sales. Tanner talks about this all the time. There's going to be some great speakers on today. I think we got Justin coming up after this, who's going to be talking about this exact topic. But listen, guys, there is a marketing to sales handoff that needs to occur if you want a positive ROI. A lot of guys just think we need to get their phone ringing, but marketing typically makes problems in your business worse, not better. It's going to stress test things and things are going to break, right? So let's break this down. What does this handoff look like? The first thing is something you've all heard before: speed to lead, right? Harvard did a study around this. I know, Tanner, I think you talk about this as well. They analyzed 1.2 million sales leads across 42 business verticals, B2B, B2C, throughout the United States. And their data backed the theory that we already know to be true. That is, if you do not answer the phone or call a prospect back within the first 5 minutes, your chances of getting them on the phone decreases by over 60%. 60%. It's terrible odds. So in this industry, it is not about being the best. It is just about being first. As the great Ricky Bobby once said, if you ain't first, you're last, right? Why? Because you are selling a premium home service. It's a want, not a need. So if you're a homeowner and you can't get somebody on the phone, you're just going to go to the next guy in line. Okay? Now, I know that Harvard study said 5 minutes, but I like to say the first 30 to 60 seconds are the most important. And I say that not because I think I'm smarter than the guys over at Harvard. I say that because if you're investing into advertising online and your calls go to voicemail or an IVR system, looking at you franchise partners with the national call centers, then you are negatively impacting the performance of your ad campaigns. For an example, take a channel like Google Local Services ads. Google has an AI that listens to every single call. If it hears the same recording, like a voicemail or an IVR, like press 1 to reach, customer service, if it hears that more than once, it demotes the quality of your ad in the algorithm. So that makes you receive less volume and your costs go up, right? This is called pickup rate, and it's extremely important. So if you don't have a human answering your phones during normal business hours, I would consider a service like Jill's Office, or you can also hire international VAs in Latin or South America. They're not expensive and they are worth every penny. So again, just answer the phone when it rings. Now, the second component of the marketing to sales handoff is the exact opposite of the first, right? We like to say leads or seeds. And if I'm being completely honest here, guys, this is where we see a lot of finger pointing, right? It's where most businesses fall short. And I wouldn't say this is due to a lack of effort. I think this is a lot more to do with a lack of understanding, a simple understanding of how marketing and sales works together. So given the industry animosity behind this non-negotiable, I'd like to spend a few minutes explaining why lead nurturing is so critical to your success. And then we'll talk about the how. And I have a free swipe and deploy script and SOP for the how. So stay with me here. Let's take this real world scenario. Say you're a hardworking soccer mom. You're sitting in your break room at work eating lunch, right? You're scrolling through social media. searching for those hits of dopamine. You're not on there looking for anything in particular, right? Then you're hit with an ad to repaint the exterior of your house, and you happen to hate the color of your house. So you submit a form and then you go about your day. But then 30 seconds later, you receive a call from the company behind that form. They're doing their job, right? Speed to lead. But you weren't expecting that. You haven't even talked to your partner yet. You need time, right? This is called interest-based marketing. Your prospects are aware of you. They're interested in your services, but they may not be ready to talk today. Interest-based marketing is like buying tomorrow's lead today. And we find this most prevalent on channels like social media, right? This is an example of top of funnel marketing. Remember that funnel? Okay. These type of leads are going to stress test your sales process. Now, let's take another example here. This is a homeowner who's ready to repaint their house today. How do they find you? They open up Google and they type painter near me in the search bar, right? They find your website, they book an estimate, and they are on your calendar directly online. You never even have to talk to them. This is called intent-based marketing, also known as bottom of funnel. This is what every business owner wants, right? So you might be asking, well, why don't we just focus on Google for new business? Like, let's just go as close to that bullseye as we can each time. Like, we only want today's leads today. Why even bother wasting time shopping on a platform like social media, for instance, when they're just interested and they might not be ready to buy today, right? These are great questions. And there's very important reasons why a strategy like that would fail. So let's go back to that funnel that we've discussed, right? So from top to bottom, this funnel includes interest, intent, lead, estimate, and sale. So I'm going to pose a question here, pop it in the chat. Which part of the funnel is bigger, interest or intent? Put it in the comments. Interest or intent, which is bigger, interest or intent? Yeah, interest, right. So we got a lot of smart people here, right? This is great. So remember, interest is bigger than intent. So what that means is interest comes from places your audience may not be looking for you, right? So think of social media. Intent comes from places they are searching for you. Think about Google. And the line between success and failure for most sales processes comes down to one word: volume. And depending on your market size, this can get expensive, right? Especially compared to top of funnel leads. So just like you, every competitor in your market wants the easy business. This includes companies like Angie, Thumbtack, and Nextdoor, and they're willing to pay for it. And in some markets, that may not be economical for you. Because if they're willing to spend $500 on a lead to resell that same lead to you and 5 other competitors, that they make their margins back, but you will not. This is simple supply and demand economics 101. And all of this just creates that dreaded feeling of scarcity, right? And scarcity really only comes from having an intentionally handicapped marketing strategy to fit a broken sales process. I'm going to say that again, just so everybody hears this. Scarcity only comes from having an intentionally handicapped marketing strategy to fit a broken sales process. So if you are not interested in following up or nurturing leads, just budget some time for sleepless nights. Because this industry is seasonal. So when homeowners are not searching for your services, bottom of funnel leads become scarce and it becomes even more competitive. And just to further hammer down the why behind why lead nurturing is so important, here's the data. 80% of all sales are made on the 5th to 12th follow-up. 80%. Big shout out to Suhaiba Neal over at the Full Business Circle for the screenshot, by the way. She's the best. Okay, so I think we can all agree that scarcity sucks. I like sleep, and I'm sure you do too. So I'm pleased to report that there is a better way. Consider this. Using industry averages, for every 5 estimates you provide, roughly 2 should become a customer, right? So for every prospect who is ready to repaint their property today, there are likely 10 more who are interested. And that just requires a little nurturing. So now let's get to the how, okay? Your follow-up process is critical for one number, your set rate. Remember that from the first non-negotiable? Okay. Our multi-7-figure clients, again, we're going for patterns here. They have the highest set rate. I'm talking 90% and above, only because their nurture sequence is over 30 days. Okay, they are following up with these prospects every single day for 30 days. And I know what you might be thinking. I don't want to call or text someone every day. That's too aggressive. That's not how I run my business, right? Okay, first of all, they took the time to submit their contact information to you. So you would be doing them a disservice as a business owner by not honoring that outreach request. And even if you have a rebuttal to that statement, I want you guys to sear this concept in your mind. You need to treat your follow-ups as a one-way conversation. All right, I want you to lead with authenticity and authority, not sales. The frequency of outreach is not the issue here. Okay? And here's a visual representation of what that outreach looks like. You guys do not need to take a screenshot of this. I'm going to give you this as a resource here in a moment. All right. During the week, you're going to call your prospects at different times of the day and different days of the week. This is simply to meet them when they're ready to talk. So let's go back to that soccer mom example. She's on her lunch break at work. Maybe Wednesday afternoons actually work better for her to talk on the phone. But you know what? She's not going to tell you that. You want to know why? Because then she's committing her busy schedule to someone she doesn't trust to call her on time. Let that sink in. All right. Now listen, I have some good news about all this. Again, I'm giving away this entire SOP. So here's a 30-day follow-up SOP. This includes the visual guide, scripts, target KPIs, and more. This is swipe and deploy, and more so, this actually pairs great with platforms like DripJobs. We have all of our scripts in here are data-based. So we are basing these on A/B split-tested data that we have done over the last decade and a half. So please swipe and deploy, copy and paste this directly into DripJobs. Again, just scan the QR code here or go to basecoatmarketing.com/follow-up. Again, that's basecoatmarketing.com/follow-up. And for anybody that doesn't grab these, I will pop these links in here as well afterwards. Now, for the third and final component of our marketing to sales handoff, it's a simple mindset. I want you guys all to be coachable. Or another way of saying this, be willing to fail. All right, if you're not willing to risk time or a sale to try something new that potentially fails, you're never going to get unstuck, right? Sales requires continuous improvement. And just because you have something that works well today doesn't mean it's your best strategy or that it's going to even continue working tomorrow. This is the number one trait or pattern of our multi-seven-figure painting businesses. They hear something on one of our weekly mastermind calls and they are quick to go test it in the wild. I'm talking same day speed to execution. Okay, now on to the third non-negotiable for marketing success. It's media. Media consists of two things, images and videos. Okay, combined, they dictate roughly 50% of the success or failure of a marketing campaign. So it's like a flip of a coin. If we do not have the right media, there's a 50-50 chance it's not going to work. Why? Because it's how we introduce you to your audience. People don't read, they scan. And more importantly, our human brains process visuals 60,000 times faster than written text. All right, in most cases, your brand is not top of mind, right? You guys are not Kleenex or Nike. Okay, so the first time your prospects see you online, it's generally going to be the first impression of your company. And as they say, first impressions matter. And just to explain the why behind why media is so important. In the world of digital marketing, there are three lead levers: volume, quality, and cost. We can generate a high volume of leads at a low cost, but that quality, it's going to stress test your sales process, right? Or we can produce quality leads at a high volume, but it's going to cost you, and that may not be economical. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. You can't have all three, right? But here's the catch. What helps drive these levers in your favor comes down to one thing, and that's media. Why? Because people do not buy your services from a company. They buy from people that they know, like, and trust. They buy from other humans, right? And look, the more good impressions we can make on your behalf, the more likely your prospects will buy from you and not your competition. I want you guys all to remember this phrase. This is a good writer-downer. Content creates cash. The better content you can create at scale, the more cash you can expect to put back in your pocket, period. So while before and after images are helpful, in the age of the internet where filters and fake influencers dominate news feeds, authenticity is hard to find, and authenticity really sells. So whether you're running ads on a platform like Meta or uploading images to your website, you want to use authentic human faces. Think of like family photos or photos of you and the wife in front of a Christmas tree or on a vacation, you and the team at a restaurant, or puppy pictures are great too. If you guys don't have a puppy, go take your neighbor's dog for a minute and just smile into the camera, right? The bottom line is you want to aim for images that include a human face and that have nothing to do with painting. Now, for video content, if you want your phone to ring consistently throughout the year, this is the #1 thing you can do on a regular basis. Why? Because at no point in human history has a local business been able to reach their target audience at scale for free as we can today. Does anybody know how much it costs to run a TV commercial? I actually had to Google this the other day. The average is between $20,000 and $150,000. And that's obviously not including places like the Super Bowl, right? Historically, this has always been out of your reach as a local business. The times have changed. Now this just requires a little time, creativity, and maybe a small monetary investment to reach your audience. But when it comes to creating video content, this is where I see a lot of challenges, right? Some of our clients get behind the camera and what happens? They freeze. Going back to that Ricky Bobby statement, they don't know what to do with their hands, right? And there's a simple reason for this. We as humans think that everything's about us, right? We get behind the camera and we're worried about how we sound or the wrinkles on our shirt. But that's just our ego talking. Instead, we should actually be worried about how much value we can deliver to our audience. Remember, everyone has the same mindset here. What's in it for me? So, you guys might be asking yourself, why is Austin giving away so much throughout this presentation? And it's because I'm addressing that question for you, right? So let's make this easier. Let's make this less scary. How do we create content at scale using the camera on your phone? Here's a quick pro tip. I want you guys all to create a script, right? Write down what you want to say, attach it to your clipboard, memorize one sentence of that script, look into the camera, speak into the camera, not the screen, and just talk, right? Pause and then repeat. It's extremely easy to crop out those type of pauses, and I'll give you solutions for that in a moment as well. But I want to take a quick look at what a script looks like and a few video examples here. So any video online, and especially social media, are made up of 3 simple components. The first one's a hook, and that's either going to be a verbal or a visual hook. This should be at most 3 to 5 seconds in length. It's quick, right? If we're scrolling through social media, consciously or subconsciously, you've likely seen this before. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm about to ruin your newsfeed forever because you can't unsee this. So a visual hook is typically someone who jumps in front of the camera or slides on the screen, right? A verbal hook is going to be executing around curiosity, right? Asking a question. So things like, did you know that? Or hear me out, or stop scrolling, right? Whatever it is, the hook must be high energy that is designed to capture that 3-second goldfish attention span. Now, I'm going to try this out. Again, I'm not sure if my audio is going to come through here or not. So let's see if you guys are able to hear this. This is what $23,000 looks like. That is the average increase in perceived
we can hear
value after. Any audio there?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, perfect. Let me go ahead and restart this. This is what $23,000 looks like. That is the average increase in perceived property value after repainting a house like this one behind me right now. And the best part is it typically costs less than half of that. Perfect. Okay. Now, if you're a homeowner, that would spark your curiosity, right? And again, the purpose of this hook is just to stop the scroll. That's it. Now, once we capture their attention, we need to tell a story. All right. You want to aim for about 10 to 20 seconds here. Simply call out a common customer pain point, right? Your story should just be about one part of your customer journey. So for example, what happens first? You want to sell the estimate. Then you might sell the free color consultation. Then maybe the quality, right? Just whatever you do, guys, do not create videos about selling the job. You want to save that for your sales script, right? Again, we're going for authenticity here. So here's an example of a story. Now, if this sparked your interest and you're looking to book a call with our team, here's what you can expect. We simply schedule a day to stop by, and we arrive on time because we value yours. A friendly face like mine will show up to shake your hand and understand your project. Okay, and in this case, we're selling the next step by describing the basics of an estimate. All right. We're also addressing a common customer pain point of contractors not showing up on time. Guys, again, this is simple stuff here, right? I don't want you guys to overcomplicate this, but here's the key. Don't get in the weeds. Don't provide too much detail. They do not care about the lighting or what you're going to do once you arrive. You're going to lose their attention, right? You want to keep this short and simple. And finally, the most important part of the video is your call to action. You want to aim for about 10 to 15 seconds here. And look, this is actually where I see a lot of resistance. And I'll explain why here. I want you guys to ask yourself, why does every car company, big box store, or TV commercial run limited time offers around the holidays? It's because it creates urgency, okay? It's a motivating factor for people to buy something that has an offer tied to a limited supply or time. This is how you manufacture buyer intent, and it works great in a seasonal industry like painting. So right now in January, everyone has the holiday hangover, right? They have that buyer remorse from buying a KitchenAid mixer that was too expensive, but it made their wife happy, right? And the thought of spending more money right now is just inconceivable. So how do we create demand when none exists? We create urgency. And here's an example of a call to action. Right now, we only have 6 spots remaining on our schedule. Our no pressure estimates are free and they only take a few minutes of your time. Finally, we'll hand you a 100% free quote with a price breakdown. Remember, this is only available for the next 6 homeowners who click on this ad. So click on the link below or give us a call to get started. Again, we're creating urgency around an offer. And if you notice, our offer isn't even a discount. We're manufacturing intent by offering a limited spot on our calendar. And this is the important part. We don't have to lie. Okay, this is where I see that resistance, but we do need to create urgency. So consider this. Do you believe that any limited time offer that you see on an ad or a commercial is actually limited? For the most part, they're not. Like if you walk into a car dealership the week after 4th of July and say, I want that 4th of July sale, they will 100% pull some strings to get that offer applied, right? It's the same reason if you open any website with one of those countdown timers and you pop that into an incognito window, it's just going to restart. Like it's all cookie based. It's all fake, right? You cannot create urgency around an actual limitation in your company. Otherwise, you would need to refresh your marketing every single day or every single week, and it's just not feasible. Even the companies on the S&P 500, they don't do it that way, right? So even if you have more than 6 spots available on your calendar and you don't want to use that, pick something else to create urgency. Okay, let's pull this all together now. Here's the entire video, and you may notice it's just under 40 seconds in length. That's only because we're running this at normal speed, so you guys can digest all the content. As an ad, this would be closer to about 30 seconds at 1.2. So let's go ahead and jump in here. This is what $23,000 looks like. That is the average increase in perceived property value after repainting a house like this one behind me right now. And the best part is it typically costs less than half of that. Now, if this sparked your interest and you're looking to book a call with our team, here's what you can expect. We simply schedule a day to stop by, and we arrive on time because we value yours. A friendly face like mine will show up to shake your hand and understand your project. Right now, we only have 6 spots remaining on our schedule. Our no pressure estimates are free and they only take a few minutes of your time. Finally, we'll hand you a 100% free quote with a price breakdown. Remember, this is only available for the next 6 homeowners who click on this ad. So click on the link below or give us a call to get started. And look, this video was filmed by our videographer, probably using equipment worth more than most vehicles. But that's only because he handles our editing here. But I guarantee you, it would underperform against the user-generated content ad shot by one of our clients on their phone. Overproduced content that looks like an ad does not work great. It's because anything that looks like an ad will never perform as well as authentic content created by you. And look, if you don't have a team of video editors and a marketing agency that can assist with this, you can download a free app on your phone. It's called CapCut. That's CAPCUT. This is what all the big players and influencers use to edit their creative. You can also try finding a reliable editor on a place like Fiverr or Upwork. They're actually not terribly expensive. You just might need to try out a few to find the right one. And look, when it comes to creating video content, don't stop at scripted talking heads. All right, you want to aim for variety. There are multiple types of videos you can film today to generate more calls tomorrow. Things such as time-lapse, testimonial videos, project walkthroughs, anything that addresses a customer pain point proactively, right? These are all types of content you can capture on a regular basis by simply building content creation into your estimates and project walkthroughs. Leverage your existing SOPs for this, right? Make your life easy by making this hard to forget. And remember, repetition is the mother of mastery. If you guys don't look back on the very first video you create a year from now and cringe because of how bad it was and how embarrassing it could be, you likely waited too long to get started. Again, execution favors success. Go get that done today. Record your first video before the end of the day today. Okay, now I know some of you have questions like, where do I film? How do I hold the camera? Like, what do I do with all this content? These are all great questions, right? I'm seeing a few of these in the chat, but by the way. So look, how about I just give you guys the script and all the tools right now? All right, so who wants an SOP they can use to film new content today? Get your phone ringing tomorrow. Put your favorite emoji in the comments. Come on, who wants an SOP emoji in the comments? Yep, perfect. Okay, cool. Let's do this. All right, just like before, scan the QR code, or just go to basecoatmarketing.com/video. This is going to include the exact script that was just in that video you watched, that exact example video, in addition to the different types of videos you want to shoot and tips for recording on your phone and more. All right, that's basecoatmarketing.com/video. Go grab it, swipe and deploy. Okay, the fourth and final non-negotiable for marketing success is reviews. We cannot buy your reputation, and it is one of the most important weighted ranking factors online. But not all reviews are created equal. Specifically, I'm only referring to reviews on your Google business profile, which, guys, if you don't have a business profile today, go do that before the end of before I'm done talking, go get that set up. There's a learning guide on our resource center, basecoatmarketing.com/learn, a Google business profile. You need this today. Why? Because when your target audience goes online, 90% of them start their search on Google. So if you guys like those bottom of funnel leads, that's easy business, you need to be on this channel. Not Angie, not Yelp, not Bing, Google. Now, this is likely all to change with the advent of AI, but I want you guys all to avoid that shiny object syndrome. And I want to focus on what's working today. So if you look at the highlighted boxes here, your reputation is directly impacted by the performance of your reputation directly impacts the performance of over 60% of the local search results. Okay. More importantly, it indirectly impacts the performance of the remaining 40%. So 100% of Google's local search results are either directly or indirectly impacted by your online reputation. That's 100% in your control. You might be saying like, hey, Austin, my competitors have hundreds of reviews. How am I going to compete? And yes, that is likely the case. And it's a great question, right? In competitive markets, I like to say Denver, DFW, and Manhattan are like our top three that we see. Your competition has been lapping you this entire time, right? And that can look like an impossible mountain to climb. So I want you guys all to write this down. The frequency at which you capture new reviews is just as important as the total number of reviews. I'm going to say that again. The frequency at which you capture new reviews is just as important as the total number of reviews. We have some clients with 50 reviews outranking those with 150 only because they captured more reviews in the more recent past than their competition. We can measure these things. Again, it's around data. And this is all a game in Google's eyes. It's to keep you engaged on the platform, right? It's gamification. So for those sitting comfortably in the map pack right now, don't get too comfortable. Now, the single best way to capture new reviews is very easy. All right. As a business, you just want to do what you say you're going to do. We want to create raving fans, right? If you hit a home run for your customer, chances are they would be happy to leave you a review online. And as an added bonus, they're likely to become a repeat customer and refer their friends and family. It's a win-win-win. And look, there are plenty of tools out there that can help automate the review capture process. And yes, some of them are even pretty robust. But here's the catch. Even the best tools that use AI and personalized outreach on average have about a 12% capture rate. That's roughly 1 out of every 10 customers you serve will actually leave you a review using one of these tools. Why? Because you're simply asking them at the wrong time. And for those of you using one of these tools, go look at your data. I think the best I've ever seen is around 18%. So again, we rely on data here. But what if there was a way to capture over 90% of the reviews from the customers you serve? Maybe that mountain won't seem so difficult after all, right? Well, here it is. Either scan the QR code here or navigate to basecoatmarketing.com/reputation. This is a simple review capture script that you're going to implement into your final project walkthrough before you leave the job site. This is easy, and it's more importantly something you can delegate, and it only takes a few minutes of your time. Again, that's basecoatmarketing.com/reputation. Go grab it. All right, so listen, I just covered a lot in a very short period of time. We covered the 4 non-negotiables for marketing success to generate more leads for your painting business today. We started with data. We want to make decisions based on facts, not feelings. So again, you must track your set rate, which should be over 70%. Your close rate, you want to keep that around 35 to 40%. And your average job size, again, industry average is about $5,000. Finally, your cost of marketing, you want that to be below 10% annually. For sales, you need to answer the phone when it rings and implement a good 30-day follow-up process. Remember, your fortune is in the follow-up. And you need to be coachable. Be willing to try new things. And more importantly, be willing to fail, right? Failing is how we learn. For media, I want you guys to all get comfortable getting behind the camera. Remember, content creates cash. And finally, for reviews, use our review capture script. Use that in your final project walkthrough. These are all things that there's no reason that you guys cannot do today. Now, you might be thinking, Austin, I barely have time to eat lunch during the week. How much time of this is this going to take out of my day? And fortunately, we track the data, and it's roughly 3 to 4 hours a week. All right. And most of this can be delegated to other members on your team, which might not take any of your time. And look, all of these strategies implemented together are patterns that we've identified that our other clients use to achieve the success that you are after. And they're going to help you mitigate one primary issue in your business today, and that is seasonality. All right. I'm obsessed about solving this problem for this industry. Keeping your business predictable, that's not difficult. Keeping it consistent, yep, that takes effort. All right. Consistent income is the outcome. And look, I only get out of bed for a few reasons each day, and making money is not one of them. In part, that's why I haven't asked you for anything yet. I'm going to ask you for something now. I want you all to take action. So if you're listening in and something I said resonated with you today, go implement it. Success favors action. This is simple stuff, guys. Don't overcomplicate it. And before I go, I actually have one final gift for you all. No, I'm sorry, it's not a free car. But right now, our onboarding calendar for new clients at Basecoat Marketing is booked out until February. But there's still time to get marketing up and running before the spring rush. So if you guys are in the hunt for somebody to assist with this, the first 3 Lift-Off attendees listening in who book a call with Basecoat Marketing, we're offering a free 6-month program upgrade. So if you're interested in something like a website and organic growth, great. We love it. That's our fundamental marketing strategy. But we'll also run your Facebook ads for free. Or if you want both a website and Facebook ads and have the budget to run ads on Google or Nextdoor, great. We'll run those at no charge for 6 months. And look, this is not one of those fake limited time offers like I mentioned before. You must mention Lift-Off as your referral source during the sales call. And again, this is only good for the first 3 onboarding calls booked in February. Simply scan the QR code or go to basecoatmarketing.com/call to book a discovery call with our team. And we'll have a quick conversation to see if we're going to be a good fit for you and your growth goals. And if you're interested in more free content like this, go follow basecoatmarketing.com on all social channels. We have a great podcast as well. It's the Basecoat Brainiac podcast, which can be found on our website at basecoatmarketing.com/podcast. I also recommend you go check out our learning center, where if you guys are looking for that in the weeds technical strategies, it's basecoatmarketing.com/learn. I literally give away all of our SOPs and strategies, and it's all completely free. You're also all welcome to shoot me an email directly at austin@basecoatmarketing.com. I'm always here to add value however I can. And finally, I will have our team at the PCA Expo in Colorado Springs next month. I'll be on stage speaking about killing seasonality once and for all. Now, listen, I believe we might have a few minutes left. So if anyone has any questions that I've not touched on, specific to SEO, ads, marketing, or whatever you want to talk about, I believe I have a few minutes left. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you all today. Let's make 2025 the best year yet. Tanner, thank you again for presenting this opportunity.